I think that's one of the biggest advantages of NFT, land, digital real estate, and the metaverse. If you buy physical land, of course, depending on the location, you have to maintain it. If it's in a far-flung area, you need to hire people to caretake it, to watch for it. Maybe you need to fence it around as well. Or if you buy a condo or an apartment, it has to be something that you have to also maintain. You need to have people who need to take care of it for you. There's a lot of upkeep. And also, if you travel a lot, it would be harder for you to keep an eye on. Or if you would actually move from one place to another, it may be a drag for you to actually keep that property if you're not there anymore, to be able to either benefit from it, use it, or you won't be able to watch for it anymore. Hey guys, so in this video, I want to talk about something very interesting, which is where should you actually invest? What's a good investment? Should you focus more on buying metaverse land? Or should you actually buy real estate, real property? What would be a better investment for the long term? Because as you all know, my stance into all of this, it's good to have as much assets as you can than to buy liabilities or to buy items that won't have any value over the long term. The ultimate goal of me making this video is that you can see the merits of real property versus the real merits also of metaverse related land. No matter what investment it is, it's highly important that if you consider it an investment, it should be an amount of money that you don't plan to touch for a very, very long period of time. It should be money that if it goes to zero, you should be generally okay with it. Or even talking about property, if it really doesn't move or it's not as liquid, you would still be okay. Because of course, if you go for the real estate route, you go for real property, the main narrative about it is, okay, you're going for real property, there's a chance that it won't really go down in value, but when you want to sell it, when you need to sell it, the money might not be there anymore. That's what you need to consider if you are also an investor. No matter what asset it is that you are investing in, it's highly important that you are putting an amount of money that you don't plan to touch. Now, looking at it at least from a timeline point of view, real estate, real property has been there for hundreds of years or even thousands of years. People have been buying land, people have been investing in it. The main narrative is population just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The amount of property, the amount of land that's available stays the same. And looking at it from a supply and demand standpoint, the demand for land will just get higher and higher and higher as the population continues to grow. That's why over a long term, land has been a very, very good source of capital appreciation. It has also been very, very good for people who are patient and who want to store value over the long term. That being said, looking at it from a timeline point of view, this whole decentralized metaverse movement, it hasn't been really around for a very, very long period of time. If Bitcoin has been over a decade, then smart contracts are even a shorter period of time, and NFTs are even a shorter period of time as well. Meaning, as compared to traditional real estate, this is something that's highly more speculative. There's a chance that what if it goes to zero? Or what if the metaverse project where you bought land in isn't really relevant? Physical, real, tangible land, given a period of time, generally considered a safer bet. When you go to digital land and the metaverse, it has to be very important that the project that you would like to get the land in is something that when you analyze it, when you look at the flow, there's a lot of building and development there. That's why the likes of the land that's being sold in Axie Infinity, the land that's being sold in Sandbox, the land that's being sold in Decentraland are generally at a premium already versus other lands that are being sold in other metaverses. Because at the end of the day, the risk of those metaverse projects that really don't have a lot of traction yet, the ones that don't have a lot of development yet, is you are hoping on at some point later, it will grab some attention, people will actually like it and go into it, and a lot of building will happen there. What if the game that you are investing in does not gain any traction or no one plays it? It just becomes a fad, meaning in 2 years or 3 years, the game or the ecosystem becomes irrelevant. That won't be the case for land, because for the metaverse, it's easy for people to jump in, it's easy for people to jump out, especially if the items that are there are NFTs. Meaning, please do note this, that since it's decentralized in nature, what makes it very, very interesting is that people can move the NFTs from one ecosystem to another, which was not the case for some centralized games where you buy items in that particular game, it just stays in the game and you can't take it out anymore. I think that's one of the biggest advantages of NFT, land, digital real estate, and the metaverse. If you buy physical land, of course, depending on the location, you have to maintain it. If it's in a far-flung area, you need to hire people to caretake it, to watch for it. Maybe you need to fence it around as well. Or if you buy a condo or an apartment, it has to be something that you have to also maintain. You need to have people who need to take care of it for you. There's a lot of upkeep. And also, if you travel a lot, it would be harder for you to keep an eye on. Or if you would actually move from one place to another, it may be a drag for you to actually keep that property if you're not there anymore, to be able to either benefit from it, use it, or you won't be able to watch for it anymore. That's not the case in the metaverse. Why? Because if you buy metaverse land, it's not anymore dependent on where you actually live in. Because you can be living in Spain right now and you want to move, say, to Portugal, or you want to move to Estonia, or you want to move to Singapore, or you want to move to Dubai. Your investment, nothing changes in your strategy toward that particular investment because it's irrelevant. It's not dependent on where you actually live, and it's not dependent on the economy of a certain country. And I think that's also one of the risks also for physical real estate or real properties, that what if the area or the country where you invested in has a lot of maybe economic uncertainty or political uncertainty? It doesn't mean that the value of the property won't really do so well, but the money that you put in, vis-a-vis you placed it into another property in another country or in another city or in another place, it might have yielded a better return for you as well. And the risk of, if the country or the economy where you invested in is not so good, the risk of its long-term outlook may not be as fruity as well. Whereas in the metaverse, political risk, economic risk is out of the window because whatever is there gets built in a decentralized manner where you also have the community or the people behind it, the ones who own the tokens that can make decisions for the entire metaverse as a whole. I don't know if it's gonna be liquid also, but I think it's more liquid than buying property, because if you try to analyze what's going on in the metaverse, there are marketplaces where you get to sell it. And if you're looking at Sandbox or if you're looking at Decentraland, you can easily list it in OpenSea, and you just have to put your price at the floor, and then you would have a lot of buyers who would be attracted to buy it from you. Trading crypto is still more liquid than the metaverse. It's still more liquid than buying NFTs. But because it's digital and there's a central platform for you to be able to buy and sell those NFT pieces of land, it's still more liquid than traditional real estate. And imagine this, if you are selling a piece of land, say in Vietnam, maybe most likely your target market will be people who are living in the area, or even foreigners that may want to develop in that particular area. The same with Dubai, the same with Singapore, the same with Thailand, the same with Canada. It will primarily get attention from people who are in that area or people who have economic interest in that particular area. Unlike the metaverse, you can offer it to anyone in the world. As an investor, you're not anymore defined where you live. It can be portable, it's more liquid, but your market, should you want to sell it, is the world. Now, that being said, I mentioned this a bit earlier that somehow the metaverse and digital land is more speculative. But here's what's interesting. Because it's more speculative also, it could also give you more upside. Always do remember this, that the higher the risk, the higher the return, the lower the risk, the lower the return. Now, if you analyze it, if you're the person that values something that's relatively fixed, you don't want a lot of volatility, you want when you put the money in, it somehow stores its value, that it doesn't really go lower than that and there won't be any wild swings, then property investing, real property investing would be more practical. However, if you don't mind the volatility, you don't mind the uncertainty, it's money that you don't plan to touch for a very, very long period of time, then digital land might be something that's interesting, because as a lot of people don't understand it yet, as a lot of people don't know it yet, it's still new, it's still early, and as a lot of building and adoption is being done still in this particular space, it presents, in my opinion, a larger amount of upside from where you are as well. I just want to say this also, that digital land, it's not something that you can live in. It's not something that if you want to have your kids or if you want to have family members also to actually stay in it physically, that's its biggest edge up against the digital space. The digital space, NFT land, the metaverse, its primarily use is it's for builders in the digital world. It doesn't mean that it's bad, it doesn't mean that it's wrong, it doesn't mean that it's gonna change the way we do things, but you have to consider this, that if there will be schools that will be built in the metaverse, there needs to be land on top of it. If there will be concerts in the metaverse, there needs to be land on top of it where people are building as well. So the value in the Metaverse will be always in its use. The value of the Metaverse will always be in the amount of people who will be somehow native to exploring the Metaverse. That's when its value gets unlocked. So my opinion, I believe the Metaverse is the future. I believe that we're not going back from this anymore, that we're just gonna move forward. We are at the point right now where it's similar to the internet in 1995, where a lot of people did not understand it yet. That's where we are even in the Metaverse, that it's so early, that it's a concept that a lot of people could not grasp even at that time. Sending mails electronically, scanning your documents so that you don't have to print it anymore and mail it. That's game changing, but a lot of people did not understand it. And that's where we are right now. So if you value something that's more traditional real estate is okay. If you value a glimpse of technology and the future, I think that's where Metaverse land will work. At the end of the day, they both serve a significant purpose in your portfolio. One is technology, where a lot of the new businesses would be built in the future. And another one is something that's traditional in a way, but 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, will still be relevant. I guess about digital land and the Metaverse is compare it head to head with real land. I think it's still relatively cheaper. Then again, you're just buying a pixel, you're just buying a dot into something. That's why it's generally something that people can enter in without a large amount of capital, versus real estate, where if you buy a condo, an apartment, a piece of land, it will cost you actually more. So it doesn't require a larger amount of money for those who want to dabble into this, as compared to the real estate market where you need a larger amount of money. What are your thoughts in all of this? Put it in the comment section below. Are you a massive follower of traditional real estate? Would you want to invest more in that in 2022? Or are you open-minded? Or are you someone that wants to dabble into the Metaverse? Put it down below and I want to know your thoughts on it. And for those who want to learn more about REITs, stocks, bonds, Bitcoin, altcoins, and NFTs, I'm having a course this March. It will be one of the very first live courses that I'm gonna do again. I haven't really done much over the past few months, but I'm doing one. It will be 6 courses, 6 different days, 1+ hour each, where we're gonna talk about those different asset classes. And if you want to join, it will be live. Link is in the description below for those who want to join it. We also have recorded technical analysis and fundamental analysis courses for those who want to be part of that as well. And I have books down below, and for those who want to enter and try the cryptocurrency market space, check it out down below. We have some platforms and exchanges also for you, for those who want to enter it as well. So I guess that's it for now. If you're enjoying, like, share, subscribe, and smash the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.